I put my resume on the internet, and a couple of weeks later, I got hired by Richard Petty. Dream come true. I got to go do this. I can do my hobby as a full-time job. I encourage all kids that as they get interested in it, man, follow your passion because it can work out for sure. Love that area. Love the background of Floyd and Virginia Tech, and that it's still home to me for sure.
Appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us. First off, to kind of recap the past 12 to 24 hours, what has that been like to go from a race that we didn't know if it was going to happen with the rain to it happening, and then to come out on top and be the winning crew chief there?
Yeah, it was a really crazy weekend. Everything was going so awesome. The track was set up. It was amazing. City of Chicago was very welcoming. It was a lot of fun to go in for this inaugural street course event. And then the rain came, and then we had 12 inches of water standing in our pit box and rivers flowing everywhere. We were actually packing up, heading towards our transporters to start the process to go to the hotel and spend another night and race on Monday. And then we got the word 15 minutes drivers to the cars, and it was a full panic mode, flip everything around, get the pit boxes back going, and get ready for the race. So amazing event, and the fact that NASCAR was able to pull it off and everything worked really well. They got the water drained out really quick, and they were able to get the show started on the wet tires, and having the chaos of going to slick tires and then having the darkness come early too and end the race early, having to change those strategies as you went, made it a really cool event, honestly. A lot of storylines, a lot of crashes, guys really making mistakes and pushing the limits. And it just made for a great weekend, too, and a great show with Shane Van Gisbergen coming in from Supercars for a one-off event and able to go out there and perform and drive from 18th to the lead. You can't ask for a much better show than that, and I hope everybody could actually enjoy it.
I was going to say, that probably makes it all the worthwhile considering everything you touched on, adjusting to the elements, shortened race. I believe we were supposed to go 100 laps, came down to 75. Did the strategy change there considering those changes, in particular the different number of laps there?
It did for sure. We were already calculating when the sun was going to go down, and we knew the buildings were mostly on the west side to block the sun. So it was going to be even shorter than the normal sunset time, that it was going to be too dark to race. So we were trying to calculate that out. We thought about lap 80 to 85. We're trying to make the guess. Some of the guys were more aggressive when they were back in the field, and they pitted around lap 41, where we waited till the next caution when NASCAR did declare that the race was going to end at 75. So that's why you saw the flip of the field. We ended up coming out 18th after the pit stops. But for me, I'm actually glad that all happened that way, so Shane could actually show his talent, drive from 18th to first, and put on that show, because that's what made it so captivating.
What has it been like being able to work with a relatively still new team, Trackhouse, and Project 91? I know that has a deeper meaning than just going out there, putting on a guy and putting a guy in a car just to race. But what has that meant to you to be able to be a part of those two important things this year?
It's an amazing group that we put together there. It's a vision that Justin Marks had, what he wanted to create with the Trackhouse brand. Being able to work with world-class talents like Kimi Räikkönen and now Shane Van Gisbergen, it's a dream come true, even if it is for a one-off event. But being able to prepare that, and we have everybody on the team has a regular job here in the shops. We put it together. It's extra effort. They put in extra time to be able to put this car together and take it to the racetrack, step away from their day job for a day or two and go out and enjoy the fruits of their labor. And luckily this time we were able to pull off the win so they could come back and celebrate with their teammates here in the shop.
How much more special was the win for you personally? I know you've had quite a storied career, been a part of a lot of races, been part of, in fact, of a championship team there with Tony Stewart. How nice was this one considering everything you've gone through and already accomplished?
Yeah, it was really cool. I mean, I've been very fortunate and blessed in my career to work with some of the greats, pull off some amazing wins with like the Daytona 500 with Jimmy Johnson, the championship with Tony Stewart, the Darlington, the Southern 500 with Carl Edwards, and Bristol Night Race with Denny Hamlin. This ranks up there with those top 5 type events, where it's something. It was the first street race, the first city race with Chicago, and the way that was all pulled off, and then having a one-time race with Shane Van Gisbergen coming in for his only race. the way he prepared and having to basically rush through this. We had basically 9 days to prepare total, putting him in the seat, getting him educated, doing a test, doing simulator time, then going to the racetrack and pulling off the show through the practice qualifying and then the race. With all the adversity we had with the conditions and everything else too, is like, man, it's just a whirlwind, and you're never going to forget this. It's something you hope you can tell your grandkids.
That is so true. And you know what I love most about your story in particular? No matter where you go, where you win, what you do, you will always be Floyd County's finest. Talk to me about talk to me about that aspect. Being from Floyd County, growing up there, of course, going to Virginia Tech. No matter where you go, though, Floyd County is there in your heart.
That's right. It's in my blood. I wish I could get back there more often. We travel so much. We're running. If we do get a weekend off, a lot of times we just want to be at home on our own couch. But I love heading up the mountain. It's less than 2 hours from my house to my parents' house there in Floyd. Try to get up there and see them any chance we can. My brother lives there, owns a little construction company, so I get back and spending some time with them is just amazing. Love that area. Love the background of Floyd and Virginia Tech, and that it's still home to me for sure.
Tell us just for a second there, if you will, just your general interest into NASCAR, how you kind of got started there after completing schooling there at Tech.
Yeah, my career actually started in high school there, hanging out with friends and Sweeney Motorsports there in Floyd with Bruce and Barry Sweeney. Kind of got me started, worked with those guys, and then worked with Jeff Agnew and was able to work with him through late models. And at that point, it was Pulaski County Speedway, which became Motor Mile, traveling to Kingsport, Tennessee, traveling all over the Southeast with those guys, racing the Hooters Pro Cup Series. Then when I graduated, I was still doing that part-time on the side. So I put my resume on the internet, and a couple of weeks later, I got hired by Richard Petty. And it's like, you can't handle that type of thing. It's like, man, that's a dream come true. I got to go do this. I can do my hobby as a full-time job. And now 24 years later, it's still a hobby. I still love going to work every day. And I encourage all kids as they get interested in it, man, follow your passion, because it can work out for sure.
Everything you've gone through, the number of drivers you've worked with over the past 12, 13 years or so now. You have a favorite, or should we not go there?
I really don't. I mean, every one of them has a special spot in my heart. From winning the Daytona 500 to championships and these other things too, they all rank up there, and you just try not to forget them. You try to do as many mementos and take pictures and all those things, because you want to be able to go back and sit on the back porch one day and look at it and remember what happened and be able to explain it to somebody. And truly, that was one thing that was fun this weekend. Is Shane Van Gisbergen is actually a huge Tony Stewart fan, so it was about reliving those moments, giving him a play-by-play of how that championship race went down in Homestead, and just the smile on his face as you're talking about what was going through your mind as you're making the decisions and stuff. That just brought back the flood of memories, and that's what's been so special about this sport to me.
Man, I love it. With that said, favorite track?
It has to be Martinsville.
Yeah.
I mean, they're close to home. Spent many days there doing late models and things as well. Go back and get those hot dogs. And we went back there and was able to win. And I've got a clock in my living room from that as well during their championship run. It's still very special to get back home and do that and see friends and family.
Yeah, I think I was looking through our archives there. Got the video of you, getting the champagne going there on the stage and everything. It's such a joy to see people get that clock and make sure they lock that in.
It's a memory I see every day too. Yes,
indeed. One of my last questions, and you kind of touch on it there, but just NASCAR as a whole, what do you think about their efforts to continue to get better, be innovative, come up with different track ideas, Bristol dirt, or even where we were there in Chicago this past weekend? What are your thoughts on them just constantly evolving?
There are times it's stressful, and there's other times that it's necessary as well. Obviously, this week we're going to Atlanta. We have a new safety update as well, where we're always trying to improve how the cars react in crashes and the lessons learned, so they never stop learning. The event at Chicago proves now that we probably can go into any city we want and put on a street race. The Coliseum race in LA, we can race in a football stadium or soccer stadium anywhere in the world. Those are the type of things where they did proof of concept, and you can sit back and look at their vision, and you have to appreciate it. Sometimes it's stress level for us because there's a ton of extra work to make those changes. But going in and being a part of that event, you just say, well, sit there and soak it in. We were doing media interviews last night, and they're tearing the track down because those city streets have to be open come Monday morning. It's just amazing to sit and watch that, and knowing there's thousands of people in the background doing that work. you have to put your effort forth too and help the sport grow. It just makes things better for everyone.
That is certainly right. You've definitely made it better. We appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us. And of course, we love to see it get some more wins too, right?
Thanks a lot for having me. We are looking forward to more wins.